All right, Billy Capabianca here at the Devil's Hour at Ben's Restaurant in 224 in Berlin Township. I have the honor of filling in for Christopher Colucci, who does this every week, but he was tied up today. And I've been waiting I mentioned this earlier when I was interviewing Dylan. I've been waiting for this opportunity to be able to sit here, and this is really why I want to sit down and talk to Coach Armini for a very long time. I have a specific question for Coach Armini before we get started here. Coach, I got to ask you, after the games, when you have the kids on the field, and I'm waiting for my godson, Chris Pater, to come off the field, what in the world are you taking so long to talk to those kids for out there?
Yeah, well, you gotta with teenagers, you gotta tell them things 4, 5, 6 times
Yeah.
before they.
we laugh. I'm like, hey, listen,
Yeah,
where were we at? I think we were down in Columbiana or something. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just call him later. I got out of there, but
Well,
I'm just joking, of course.
no, I know. There's always a message. I usually have something in my mind that I want to say to them. Good, bad, or indifferent. So the message Friday night, after a lackluster performance, is that we have to learn from it and grow. That's why we play a tough schedule. It's why we're in the conference
Absolutely.
we're in. It's why we load up our out-of-conference schedule. We played a 9-1 football team week 1.
Yep.
They're going to win every game. We need to learn from those instances. So, like Friday night, it's usually going in on how we have to learn from it and grow from it and, fix some things.
Coach, I'm going to tell you, I love adversity. I've always personally in my life. Do you want to go 10-0? Do you want to have a unblemished season? Absolutely, but I do believe that at times, I could just talk personally, adversity makes you grow as a person, and that's a great thing about sports. And I don't want to just talk about football. It's all sports teach you so much in adversity and how to overcome adversity. And I mentioned to the kids, it's going to sound cliche with the Rocky movie. It's not how many times you get knocked down; it's how many times you get back up. And I know these kids, and especially under your leadership, are going to probably be a much more difficult team going into the postseason now that they have faced that adversity and their back's been no one likes that feeling.
Yeah.
That's just me personally speaking, that's the good that comes from a loss.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's why I've spent my entire life, in the game because, I played multiple sports growing up. I've even coached multiple sports, but nothing teaches you life quite like football does, in my opinion. I tell the kids this, and I said this Friday night, and I've been saying it all week long. Anybody can perform when things are going well. Anybody can be happy when your bills are paid, when things are going well. But how do you react?
Preach. Yep.
How do you react when things don't go your way? Do you get back to work? And that's the message that, we've tried to give those guys. And, when we faced adversity before, we were 3-7 my first year. I think the whole year was one big test, and there for a lot of reasons. But you keep working, and I think that if they emulate anything of my personality, it's that.
Yeah.
It's just to get back to work. There's people who work and there's people who don't. And life works out for those who get back to work more so than it does for those who just stand around and wait for good things to happen.
Yeah, that's what you're spewing gospel there, and so we'll go into another direction. My daughter, Angelina Capabianca, was a student of Coach Armini's, and all I know is this. When she came home, and no disrespect to any of the other teachers, she just spoke always so highly of Coach Armini, and I know during the Friday night football games, what he's saying right here, he just doesn't do this for the kids on his football team. It's a consistent message with the kids in his classroom as well. All of the students, which Coach Armini is able to guide and talk to, this is the same man, whether it's on the football field or in a classroom. And I know this personally because of my communication with my daughter. So thank you for what you do for all the kids that are looking for positive influences in their life. You definitely are one of them.
I appreciate that, and I'm a teacher, and that's all I know how to do. You know, whether it's in a classroom or on a football field or, you know, on the flag football field with 6-year-olds where I just was. You know, it's just trying to lead kids to accomplish their goals. You know, and I learned a long time ago some good advice that came my way from coaches that I've worked for and have trusted. It was always to be yourself. You know, we have, especially here, we have really smart boys, you know, and they can smell a fake. And they know if you're not being authentic. You know, so I learned a long time ago in this business to just be honest, to be yourself and let the chips fall where they may. You know, and that's served me well so far.
This is your third or fourth year here?
This is my third year as the head football coach. I spent 6 years as an assistant previously, a long time ago.
At reserve?
At reserve.
Head coach was?
Mike Apache.
Oh, okay. I just ran into Mike Apache with Coach Miller in Columbus.
Yeah.
Last season we went down and we did it was like
a holiday tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It kicked off a season kickoff tournament.
Yeah.
Boy, did we play some teams down there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Coach Apache, that school, I believe it was his school that hosted it. And when I was walking into that building, it was a campus. You know? Yeah. So he's found a nice place down there and what he's doing.
He did a great job here. Once upon a time, this was like a football desert. You know, and he did a nice job of building a solid program. And then Coach Haight came in I think 2009, and man, things just took off.
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoyed that ride. My
kids,
son was son was a part of that.
Like kind of smack dab in the middle of it.
Smack dab in the middle of it. And I will tell you, like this community, we struggled for years athletically on the football field. When I say struggled, I'm just talking like we just weren't known as just a program.
Yeah.
We always fielded a gritty team.
Yep.
And a team to be proud of out here in West Reserve, but just wasn't getting into the playoffs. You know, a lot of 5-5 seasons, sometimes worse. Still something to be very proud of. And then Coach Capaci came in, and all of a sudden, Friday nights was just a different vibe here.
Yeah.
And my kids, my son was like, I'm going to say elementary school at the time.
Yeah.
But it gave me a reason to have to come up and catch a game.
Oh yeah.
And then Coach Haight came in, and this town transformed into it just had such a vibe. And I will tell you, me being a part of that and seeing that this season so far, that vibe's back.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to say about you and what you've done with this program.
Yes.
The stands are consistently full now, consistently full. And when people are going around that ring, you know, over to the goal, when people are lined up all the way to like where the goal post is, that speaks volumes to the amount of people that are there. And things like this being here tonight at Ben's with the players and the parents, that it's special. These kids will remember that for the rest of their lives.
You know, and that didn't happen by accident with Coach Capaci. It didn't happen by accident with Coach Aiken. It hasn't happened by accident with our staff and our boys. You know, there's a lot of people behind that effort. There's a lot of parents, you know, supporting the program, you know, because every time that you have a practice, you know, someone's dropping those kids off and picking them up. Every time you hold a fundraiser, you know, it's the parents doing the heavy lifting on that fundraising. There's an awful lot of off-season hard work that goes into that. Yeah. I think that's probably one of the things that we've been able to do best is to train these guys and figure out a way to do that and navigate around all the boys playing multiple sports, you know, because this is a community where you don't play one sport, you know.
I already know the answer to this, but you kind of led me to it. Like, how do you your football program, of course, you know, you said you're a teacher, and being with a teacher comes being a head coach of this football program. And it's hard today to guide a student to play as many sports as possible. Could you tell me what your philosophy is on multi-sport athletes?
We are very supportive of that. You know, we have baseball coaches on our staff. We have track coaches on our staff. So we try to support as many sports as we can. You know, and the only thing that we ask of those other programs is to get in the weight room. Let's encourage those kids to build strength, to build endurance, you know, to build flexibility with their body, you know, so that our athletes can be dynamic across the board. And we get a lot of cooperation. You know, our basketball team lifts, our track team lifts, our baseball team even does workouts. You know, so I think in a small school atmosphere, you have to all be on the same page. And I've said this a million times. You know, not all of our kids are on the baseball diamond. Not all of our kids are on the basketball court. Not all of our kids are on the football court. But no matter what sport you play, they're in the weight room.
Yeah.
You know, so having some common ground with those head coaches, and we're lucky. I came in a time here where all of those coaches were on the same page. You know, Coach Sorensky does a great job with the basketball guys. Coach Armini, weirdly of no relation.
It's not crazy.
Yep, does a great job with the baseball program. You know, Coach Dotson, who's one of our assistants, does a great job with the track program. You know, so you know, I think you have to have a lot of conversations and a lot of communication to be able to pull that off. But we've been able to do that, and we're not the only ones. You know, other places figure that out.
Other places, but there is a struggle in some
Yeah.
districts where it just isn't that smooth.
Yeah.
I will say you know, Northeast Ohio, small schools with successful athletic programs. Clearly, the superintendent has done a great job of putting people in authority positions. Head coaches will say that he knows will vibe well together. And you know, let's talk about Dallas here quickly.
Yep.
I mean, how lucky is the district, West Reserve District, to have him here leading? At least that's how I feel.
I couldn't say this more emphatically, but I mean, he's the reason I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, his leadership, I mean, he was one of my coaches once upon a time, you know, and just his consistent leadership. He is both challenging and supportive at the same time, and not everybody can pull that stuff off.
And just he's very calming.
Very
calming
patient man.
Yeah.
You know, he is so good for this community. I hope he stays here forever, you know, because under his leadership, you know, I think we're always going to do the right thing by our kids.
Yeah, I fell for the guy when I remember the first night I met him, the first handshake, and you said earlier they could tell, the kids could tell.
Yeah.
And you just knew right away he was an authentic man, and we were in good hands. So I don't know how to put my thumb on this. I did make a couple phone calls on the way here because I wanted to bring this up. I will. My family put 6 kids through this school. Mm-hmm. I'm the youngest of 6. But I was at a home West Reserve game, and so far I've seen one home game. I saw my brother and my sister, Jack and Carolyn. And I said, why didn't you guys tell me you were coming? And why didn't you call? They're like, oh, well, we came out with the Armini family. So do you know what that connection is? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to piece that together after, But they were here with your family somewhere or something along those lines. Don't know it, but
we'll have to compare notes.
Do you have family in Ursuline, in the Ursuline program? Because my brother's kids all went to Ursuline.
Yeah, we're it's quite a large. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
quite a large family with lots of branches.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know?
It's a good story. Good story to have. So we'll get into the wrap up mode, but I want to ask you, what is your most favorite part? Earlier, your hands are crossed, and you said it so. It just flowed out of your mouth. I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
And when you said that, that meant about 100 different things. So I want to ask you, you know, what is your most favorite thing about guiding and leading this generations that you are able to do, to guide and lead? Tell me what, at the end of the day, what does Coach Armini, what is your number one goal? And it doesn't have to be an athlete. It could be academic in your class.
I'm a process guy. You know, this is going to sound kind of funny, and my coaches make fun of me and laugh at me all the time about it. But, you know, I'm someone that doesn't enjoy games very much, but I really love practice. You know, the moment that you can help a young person to that I got it moment is a really special feeling. You know, I get a lot of self-gratification out of that as a teacher and a coach. So I really love the process. You know, I love practice. I love teaching kids skills and techniques and, you know, challenging them, you know, because I know that that process is going to pay dividends for them down the road. You know, and it's the same way in a classroom. Well, you know, I'm lucky enough to teach American government at a time that is crazy. Politics is crazy. You know, so being a calming influence and helping, you know, those young people find their voice and how to sort through all the information out there, you know, and to still stay true to their beliefs, but to also question things, you know, because I think you can learn a lot about yourself when you question things. You know, so that is what I really love about being a teacher and a coach, and, you know, and that's what this is a tough profession. Now so more than ever, being a teacher and especially being a football coach. and that's what motivates me. It's what keeps me, in the ring, taking punches and throwing punches. So, that's what's special to me about being a teacher and a coach.
Nice. I could talk to you forever. I apologize. We really didn't talk much football tonight. I will be back next week. We'll get back on track. But this was a great conversation.
I
I hope
appreciate it.
people
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it. Coach, keep doing you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.